Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here. Shall we begin? Hello, Jam Fam.
Hey, Jam Fam. It's Bill and Nancy Jameson here in for another amazing day of sharing with you what it takes to create super successful, juicy, intimate relationships, and as much as, maybe even more so, than your super successful real estate business. So it's definitely a balance. How are you, baby?
I'm doing great. I love you setting those intentions right up front.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're up to.
Today's definitely a very powerful conversation. One that kind of took us a little bit by surprise. We weren't sure where this was going, and yet when we got the question that came in, woo,
yeah, well, we were like, eek, we got a question. First of all,
well, it was very cool. So we're super excited about it. So, but first, let's share some magic.
Cool. Magic being your ability to influence self, others, and life in an empowering way.
Yes.
Empowering. And empowering is, for me today, was the four of us getting up at 6 o'clock this morning and going to work out.
Yep.
Awesome. And by the four of us, I mean you and me and our two sons, who are 12 and 14.
They're giant.
Yeah, they're giant for sure. They're not babies anymore. No. And
no.
And don't leave me with the babies. They go everywhere we go. Anyway, they came and worked out, and I just they've been doing it for a while through the whole Corona thing, and with homeschooling, and it was another way for them to get out of the house, and another way to get some activity in, and I just you can literally see the weekly development in them. From showing up and playing like they do. It's pretty amazing. So,
yep, absolutely. You were getting it today too, King. I mean, my goodness, I had an enjoyable time watching you bench press. That was super fun. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, it's great. Definitely not your typical 50-year-old.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
Cool. Awesome. What's your magic?
My magic. My magic is all around our Facebook group, that our private Facebook group for Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast.
Yes.
And so it's the space where agents, both couples and singles, can come together and mastermind around all things really sex, money, and real estate. So what even does that mean? So it's real estate tips. It's the tools and resources that we coach on and give you to create extraordinary relationships. Either, if you're a single, it's creating the extraordinary relationship going forward, or like preparing yourself for that extraordinary relationship. And then if you're already in a relationship, it's like, oh my gosh, how do I create the next evolution of that? So, so that's the Facebook group, and it's just this beautiful place for you to see in real time how we do it and what we do, and we share a lot. If you are interested in going ham on production and working 90 or 100 hours a week, then we're not for you. Right. We're not for you. We are all about the balance of the production and the production capability, taking care of the goose and the golden egg. So happy to have you here, yet you may not want to join the Facebook group.
Right. Yeah.
Because sustainability.
It's counterintuitive for some people. I mean, I can work less and make more money. How does that work?
True. Well, yeah, because it's all how we were raised in the societal conditioning of more. Like, put the pedal to the metal and no pain, no gain, and all that stuff. Yep. I mean, it's really re-scripting those relationships, work relationships, intimate relationships with your kids, with yourself. Most important.
Yep.
And so that's the Facebook group. So we're in the process of setting that up. We hired a coach. We've been working with the coach now for 3.5 weeks. And so we're in it. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. And then, again, just getting this question is pretty amazing. I was going to go through this question real quick.
Yeah. So the concept was, doing a Q&A, and we were going to set up questions on, a couple questions for sex, couple, dealing with relationships or sex, couple questions on money and whatever that brought out, and then a couple questions on real estate. And then we got this question, and then we just were like,
no, covers all three.
It covers all three.
Yeah.
And like we could do, like, this question is going to spawn off, other episodes and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, this is a doozy.
Cool. So the question is, it says, hi, let me pull this up. Hi, Bill and Nancy. Thank you so much for your show and bringing these issues to light. This is difficult for me to tell you about, and I wasn't going to, yet something has to change. We are commingled in our business and personal money. Okay, they're commingled in their business and personal money. We live commission check to commission check. We do not have a budget. We are paralyzed and overwhelmed. And then they want to know where to begin.
Mm-hmm. Golly.
Can
anybody relate to that? I know I can. I remember when we were all that in a bag of chips.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. To reference the episode on bankruptcy that we did, early on in these episodes. And there's some back. I mean, it led us down that road to bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we're here to tell you that it does not have to be your experience. You do not have to experience bankruptcy or any of the things that we experienced with you. So that's why we basically just stopped and said, well, let's share. What did we think about this question and all that kind of stuff. And really where I would like to start is thank you very much for acknowledging where you are and having the courage to share that question, ask that question, be open to the conversation of what it's going to take to move through that and kind of really peel back each one of these layers, because this goes deep. So it's great. So I really appreciate the question being asked.
Nice.
Definitely want to acknowledge you for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's so much courage to I mean, it's so easy to put your head in the sand and hope and wish and be in denial, essentially.
Hope and wish. Yeah, for sure.
That's all going to go away. And, it takes action. It does take action. And sometimes we get it so convoluted that in our heads and make it an even bigger deal than it actually is. And, and I get it, it could be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or more of debt and commingled money and all that. And yet the solutions are simple, it's just setting out and, taking everything one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There you go, baby. Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just nice, peaceful. I mean, there is going to be a lot of, just acceptance and taking a pause and creating the space for yourself to actually have and move through this conversation. So I definitely feel like, it's like a sense of grace, if you will. So it's, just be gentle as you go through this process. Be gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will share with you also that, you created the problem and the problems are there, and you are not going to be able to solve the problem from the same headspace that you created them from. So it is going to require some outside accountability. There is definitely some low maturity around these conversations. So whether it's commingling the money or living paycheck to paycheck, like we're going to, need to look at that and identify some of those beliefs and habits around money and, not having a budget. Like there's definitely a maturity aspect of it too. So Stephen Covey always talks about if you have low maturity around something, you have to have high accountability if you're going to move. Like if you truly want to make change, last, like you can change for a period of time that's not sustainable, but for sustainable change, it is going to require an accountability partner, possibly two, maybe a coach in one or two of these areas. So just kind of stick a little Post-it note on the side there as you go through this process, that it's definitely going to be, it's going to take a team.
Always does take a team, for sure. It's, again, it's surrounding yourself with people who may know more in this subject, or have more, they not necessarily have to know more, but have more experience with it is definitely the way to go. So just to piggyback off what you're saying, Nance, is transparency is going to be another big thing with this too. Part of being courageous is being transparent with how you're spending your money, where you're spending it, your habits, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So it may be a family member that you get involved to help, and if that feels a little too close to home, even though, and what I'm talking about is when you get somebody involved, you get somebody involved that is amazing with numbers, right? If we're gonna just take on the money aspect of it, you get somebody. It could be the relationship, any parts of it. Yeah. You're gonna get somebody on that's genius with it. Either they have a long history with budgeting and money, or so it could be a family member or a friend. If that feels better to have a friend, or it may be even some kind of meetup group or something like that, where you're in the environment of talking the talk with people that are in a similar situation, looking to evolve themselves as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Could be a clergy member, could be another real estate couple,
right?
Partnership or real estate partnership that may be in your office or in your brokerage or something. Could be a business coach, because they have business coaches for all different types of, it could be all kinds of stuff, real estate related or otherwise. It could be an accountant. It could be a therapist. I mean, to wherever your relationship is in these three different areas is the degree in which, you may want to assign an accountability partner to, or a team member to,
Yeah, trying to if especially if you're listening to this, you're in this position, and you're thinking that you may want to use your partner as your accountability partner. I'm just gonna say stop it.
Yeah,
just stop it.
Oh my gosh, that does not work.
No, I'm sure, doesn't. And I'm positive you tried it with working out and eating right and all the other things that y'all have tried to do in your lives, and I'm just gonna say stop it.
Yeah,
get some help from the outside.
Yeah, from a different perspective. Yes. Someone that you're not so emotionally attached to.
Get outside your perimeter.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that accountability thing with you.
Cool.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Fabulous. Well, let's start with sex.
Okay.
Meaning the relationship aspect of it, because we believe one thing that we're clear about, well, there's several things that we're clear about, but there is the clarity around the relationship, that it starts with the personal relationship and then flows beautifully into the professional relationship. So you are super synced up and synergistic in your intimate relationship. It will directly proportional to increase like exponentially in your business. So
yeah, absolutely. So, have the conversation with your partner about setting up a time and a day and a time limit for having the conversation, so that you two can stay in your power, essentially. Create the space for that conversation, and then set some intentions around the conversation, right? What has to happen here in this conversation for us to both feel like, we're having a winning conversation.
Mm-hmm. I would like to add that this is not a time to have an argument. So you look in each other's eyes and you literally say to each other, we're having an open, transparent conversation that is not going to result in an argument. And I understand that the brain does not recognize a not, yet I want to be very clear. This is not the time or space to have an argument about what it is. This is a time to openly share, to be vulnerable, and to trust each other that you are going to look at this head on.
Yeah, in the eyes.
Yeah,
and you've got each other's back on this.
Yeah, it's a very it could be a very robust conversation, just like authentic, like just honest. Like it's time to be honest. Stop lying, stop denying, stop hiding. Bring out the bucket of unopened bills or whatever it bring all that stuff out and just have each other's back on this conversation.
And know that one of you two is going to probably feel a little more vulnerable than the other one.
Yeah,
and have hold space and have compassion for that too. For sure.
And that's why I like setting a time limit for this initial conversation. Because this thing could go sideways. I mean, it really could go sideways, this conversation, Yeah. And I share that with you because we didn't set a time limit or time limits on our conversation.
Or intentions and it just, they generally went sideways.
Yeah.
Somebody got mad.
It was crazy. Yeah. And it turned into an argument.
Yeah.
So just that's how this is all set up. So when you're having that, especially about the relationship, it's like, okay, cool. Here we are, we're setting the space. And then, so you've set the space, you've set intentions, and you're ready to go. So you're having the conversation, set an action step, 1 to 3 action steps to move it forward. So one of them being, when's the next time that we're going to talk? Setting a weekly standard, really, especially in the beginning.
A standing appointment every week.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to meet no matter what. And whether it's a 10-minute conversation or a half an hour conversation, you're going to meet and have that money conversation no matter what.
Yep.
No bi-weekly or monthly. I mean, what happens, if you go bi-weekly, what are you doing? You're giving yourself a buy.
Yeah, you're giving yourself a buy.
And you're not going to look at it. You're not going to think about it. And you're going to sweep it under the rug. And then it's like starting all over again when you get enough courage to have that conversation again. So again, stop it. Be accountable.
Yeah. Just and be vulnerable, surrender to the appointment, set it after the kids go to bed or set it when, set it early in the morning, set it when there's no distractions, just set it when you could be at peace in a peaceful spot. Go outside, do something,
Yeah, I love that.
Be in nature, do something
different.
Something
than what
different.
You guys are used to doing.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's talk about, so that's the sex and the relationship part. Let's talk about the money.
Yes.
Show me the money.
Yes.
So you're, what I'm seeing here is you need to maybe set up 1 to 3 action steps.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. You could do 1 or 3 action steps in each one of these areas. I mean, really, for the money conversation, you just got to stop. You got to make the decision to no longer commingle your money. Like, this is personal money, this is business money, this stops here.
Right.
Like, that's step number 1. That's the action step.
Whether you're an LLC or incorporated or whatever the deal is.
Or not.
Or you're not. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Or you're not.
Yeah.
And open up that extra savings account, open up that extra checking account, and all the business money goes into one place, and you can pay yourself into the personal out of that so that it's not commingled anymore.
Yeah.
Even if, you're paycheck to paycheck or commission check to commission check, and you're literally depositing, that $5,000 commission check into your business account and then paying yourself $5,000 out of that account into your personal to cover everything, great. But at least have that accountability that the money goes into the business money goes into one place, and you get your paycheck out of that into the second place.
Yeah. I mean, we have 10 accounts, 10 bank accounts.
Well,
just in one particular bank to move our business money into our personal money. And we'll do another episode on that because that's really an amazing process. That was a whole nother level that allowed us to become financially free. But really, yes. So separate business, separate personal.
All day long. All right. And cool. And then
regarding the budget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just Google an irregular budget. Listen to Dave Ramsey's podcast on irregular budgeting or, another podcast on irregular budgeting. Like, learn about irregular budgeting because commission check to commission check. I mean, our business is irregular. It's not regular.
And it was a big hang up for us.
Oh, yeah. It was huge.
Like we thought it was impossible to budget with an irregular paycheck, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So it may be just educating yourself. That may be one of the action steps. I mean, you may be able to go, really big and bold and and figure out the budgeting and that kind of thing. And yet I would just say these are baby steps. So,
and if you don't have a budget, even if it's a very minimalist budget, start creating the budget as well. You know, there's tons of apps out there. I know that there's tons of Google. Google has sheets on it that have been pre-made by everybody on the. Do something. Do something.
Yeah, so you got to get to that mindset.
Yep. And then again, it's the accountability around it as well.
Yep.
Having an accountability partner.
Yep.
Somebody
Absolutely.
other than your spouse, and somebody who is great with money.
Yeah. Yep. And you know who it is. I mean, it's coming up for you right now. So.
Yeah. Whoever just popped into your head, get them. Cool. I love that.
Awesome. Real estate.
Cool. So educate yourselves in real estate around incorporating. I mean, you may be incorporated already, but if you are commingling money, I'm going to say that there's a high chance that you are not an LLC or a corporation of some kind, right? So look at your overall options for treating your business like a business, right?
LLC, S Corp, incorporated, whichever is going to be better for you. I mean, is really where to start on that one. There are a bunch of real estate books that you can look up and figure out, you know, whatever plan is right for you, it's the plan that you need to stick with. So we categorized, well, again, I told you, we separated our money into, 3 business accounts and 7 personal accounts. So we have a Jameson and Company operating account, a Jameson and Company savings account, and a Jameson and Company emergency fund or / abundance fund for things like COVID.
Right.
To offset, like we have the savings in that third savings account. So it doesn't get touched. So, educate yourself on a money system, but the first step is structuring your business like a business.
Yep, for sure. And, meet with other husband and wife, or couple teams that have their systems in place.
Yep.
There's somebody in your office that and I'm going to tell you, there are going to be plenty of people out there that you're going to talk to, and they're going to be like, I don't know crap about money. And they're selling 50 houses a year and blah, blah, blah. It happens, and it's fantastic. And there's a whole nother conversation we can have around that. And I'm going to tell you, for the shortest path, the one with least resistance is to treat your business like a business, and run your money and your business on one side, like in a meaningful way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once you decide on the business structure, then that's when you can have your accountant or a bookkeeper start coordinating your profit and loss statements, and then really educating yourself on what is a profit and loss statement, what's a balance sheet, what goes in this category, what goes in that category, and then really, really, really develop that mature relationship around your money, and frankly, direct it. Like you are now in control of your money to the point where you're directing it and where it needs to go.
Yep.
That's like where you're headed. So it's possible, because we were there. We were right where you were, and now we are where we are.
Yes. So, it makes it easier for times like, with the market turn, if the market were to turn, or when COVID hits, or whatever the next emergency is, where, it's easier to play red light, green light with your money. What am I going to spend my money on, and what am I not? Because you know exactly where all your money is going.
Yep.
So it just insulates you from the market.
Yeah.
The ups and downs.
Yeah. And it definitely feels powerful, for sure. I mean, it's awesome. It's totally awesome.
So, and again, it gets back to having that. I'm going to tell y'all that it gets back to having that initial conversation around your relationship to yourself around money, and the relationship you have around yourself to your partner, and vice versa. And that's where it all starts. Because once you two are on the same page, and you two, kind of start showing up for each other in this way, then everything else will fall into place. It's that synergy that you guys have each other's back, and you're taking care of yourselves at the same time. Yeah.
1 + 1 = 1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's synergy. Yeah. It's awesome. Excellent. Of course, we are here if you have any questions. Of course, we are here if you need any resources or any more resources or direction or coaching on it. Really, I mean, we're here to help. Firsthand experience. So
give us a shout, drop us a line.
Happy to.
We're here for you.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, that's it.
Yes, I appreciate the question. I appreciate always podcasting with you and sharing this conversation with you.
Yeah, and the great thing is it really affirms, the things that we have done for me, and because sometimes it'd be easy just to kind of, overlook or take for granted some of the things that we've done, and so I appreciate being, the opportunity to revisit this as well.
Yeah, so. The amount of work and play that we have put into our relationship, our commitment, our business.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Ourselves. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
Cool. Well, awesome, Blossom.
Thank you, Lovey.
I love you, and I love you all out there too. And we will see you on the flip side.
Yes.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow the show. I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And remember, it's
a great life. Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.